Many people have been laid off, and others are in the position where they think they might be laid off. So I've created a presentation titled Layoff Response. And this is what my reaction would be and what I would be thinking if I was in either position. So, effectively, my recommendations. On this opening slide, I have a pie chart that is divided into four different sections, and these represent different paths forward. And so my strongest recommendation is represented by the largest section, which is to become a contractor. So by becoming a contractor, you're open for business, you're engaged in contract work, which is going to be much like individual mini jobs without the employee benefits. So the next largest section of the pie chart is labeled freelancer. And so here I recommend that you increase your visibility by publishing your profile and your services offered on different freelancer platforms, including Upwork and freelancer.com. And the next two sections of the pie chart are of equal size, but I recommend the outreach path, which is again continuing on this contractor path. I recommend you engage in outreach, which is where you are contacting organizations or business owners directly and offering your services. And then the last section of the pie chart is the traditional route. Here you are looking at different job boards and applying for different job openings. Now, more details on each path forward. With the contractor work, again, you go into work for yourself. There are no guarantees, there are no employee benefits, no sick leave, but you are independent and you can potentially exceed your previous income. Now, when pricing your services, you can go with a flat rate, you can go with a project-based rate, you can also have an hourly rate. If you go with the hourly rate, what I recommend is that you calculate your hourly rate based on your current salary or your previous salary, and then you add 20%. So let's say you are effectively making $35 an hour at your job, then you would post your hourly rate at $42 for contract services. Also, state your rate, be upfront with what you expect to get paid for your services. So many contractors, when they contact me, they're ambiguous about what they want to charge, and that actually works against them. So just be upfront with what you expect and what you're comfortable with. We'll talk more about your rate in a moment, but be upfront, be clear. That's what I have next. Make what you offer crystal clear, be specific, and along with the services you offer, be clear about your pricing expectations, your pay expectations. And then I also highly recommend that you specialize in one or a few things. So people that are going to have less success are going to be generalists. People with more success and higher rates are going to be those who specialize in one or a few things. And when you become a contractor, you can instantly open yourself up to business by making it known on your LinkedIn page. If you have a website, making your or creating a website, or just updating your website as it stands, and or posting on your various social media channels. Now, taking this a step further, you can go and post on different freelancer platforms. So I've mentioned Upwork and Freelancer. Some ways to level up your profile. One, include a photo that is clear, a photo where you are visible, not where you are hidden, not something where you are posting an icon or a logo. So post a photo, have a thorough bio. The more information you include, the better. Also, post on your experience, provide an appropriate rate. And when I say appropriate rate, this is not to say that you need to be priced as low as the person who is offering your services. Maybe they're offering at $10 an hour. This is not to say to price at what they're pricing at. You don't want to compete on price, but you do need to be aware of how much your services are generally priced at. So be aware of the range where your services fall and then price appropriately and separate yourself. What is going to distinguish you from the other potential candidates that a business owner could be looking at? and then level up your profile over time, whatever that may be. And we'll cover some different ways to level up, but make sure everything is clear. And then, as we'll get to later, make sure that you provide all of the information that someone would want to know before they hire you. So next, let's look at outreach. So here you're contacting organizations and business owners directly. If you're writing an email, be clear in the title. Don't have an ambiguous title. Don't have anything that could be interpreted as a spam. Just be direct and upfront. So here I have the example of contractor offer. I can organize your client emails into projects. And I wrote this because this is specifically something that I'm working on currently. But the point is to try to anticipate where your services connect with in this, let's just say it's a business owner, with the business owner's needs. And start small. Don't look to get a large contract up front. Don't look to have this large position where or large number of hours where you're working, let's say 10 hours a week. Just start with one small task, a small assignment. Maybe it's 1 to 3 hours. No big startup. You could even offer a pre-made contract where you openly provide a non-disclosure agreement. The point here is that you want to make sure everything is as easy as possible for either the organization or the business owner, whoever it may be. Now, that does get to a good next point, which is to tailor your email and customize your email to the person you are contacting. If you are contacting a solo business owner, that's going to be, your email is going to be much different than if you contact a large company who has 500 employees. So keep in mind that you're going to need to customize your emails. You don't want to come across as you're sending the same email to 100 different places. And then I have this next bullet point I have here is real talk. So you could introduce and let someone know the real story. This is not looking for sympathy. This is simply stating, in this case, I was recently laid off I have HHS, so the Department of Health and Human Services, and I'm now offering contract services for X. I do XYZ really well. Here's proof. So this is a nice way to get started. This email doesn't need to be long, but just make it informative and make it so that if someone is interested in your services, that they now have something to go off of, and now follow up with an additional question. So this is a good way to start out. This is the direct path, the clear path, the honest path, being transparent, not trying to be any more than your situation is. I think that's going to work in your to your benefit. So next I have jobs board, and this is the traditional path. It's bad for most. So this channel is concerned with accessibility and compliance. So with accessibility and compliance, the jobs board is going to be much more genuine. And so for digital accessibility, if you are experienced in digital accessibility, I do recommend allyjobs.com, A11yjobs.com, because most of those jobs are going to be genuine jobs where the organizations really are looking for help. But for most industries, you're looking at fake jobs. So where a lot of companies like to pretend they are hiring for appearances, but they're not actually hiring, or they have very unrealistic expectations. Where, let's say, the called for salary would be $120,000, and they have an offer, or they have a job posted for $80,000. So they're looking for something unrealistic. It's a lot of time. This is going to be a waste of time, and you may even have more of your time wasted than just applying for the job. You might be encouraged because there are multiple rounds of job interviews only to never hear back. And so the traditional job route is going to be a bad route for most. Now, some recommendations to go along with these paths forward. Be a professional, easy to deal with person. The easier you make this on somebody, the more likely it is that you get that initial contract. And that's so important, because one contract can easily lead to another. And I will tell you something that has happened in the last, I believe it's last 3 weeks, is that I was contacted by really a husband and wife team who are now both contracting for me, and they're likely going to be at have earned $1,000 within just two projects. Now, this was happenstance. It just so happened that I had multiple projects come in where I specifically needed their expertise. But they contacted me, they let me know that they were interested in offering services. And because they did that, now I had them in my mind if anything came up where I thought they could be of value. And they were immediately. And so it worked out. So this is to say that this really can work out in your favor. And in fact, you may enjoy this. You may like this more than the job that you were previously at. But this leads right into my recommendations, which is to be aggressive. This is a numbers game. Stack your progress. Do not spam. So that's all in one bullet point. The be aggressive point here is to not think too much about what you're going to do, but rather to start doing it and then be better over time. And of course, the recommendations in this video can help guide your efforts, but be aggressive, because if you are planning and you're organizing and you're strategizing about what you're going to do, you're not actually doing it. So you need to be aggressive and make progress. And that's what I have here, stack progress. So progress might be improving your profile on the freelancer platforms. It might be improving your LinkedIn page, and the numbers game might be outreaching to several different business owners and continuing on that path. So I recommend the contractor route because I think you're going to have more success sooner, and versus investing a lot of time and not. You might not ever see any type of ROI on that time, and I think you will see a faster ROI on contract work, and then over time, it's actually going to make it less risky for you to be contracting than it is, and contracting to potentially many different people than it is just to have a single job. Let's see here. Appearances matter. What have you invested? So this is going to lead to my next slide, but make sure that you're doing all you can to have as best of presentation as you can. So this goes along with the photo. This goes along with paragraphs having proper formatting. This goes along with nice designs. Let's say you have a logo, whatever it is. Appearances matter. The way you present yourself matters. The language that you use matters. Everything you do is going to stack up, including your response time, how responsive you are. That this all matters. So if someone writes you back, you want to write back as soon as possible. It won't make you look desperate. It will make you look like you're prompt and ready to get to work. So on your side, you need to invest as much as would call for these different circumstances. But what have you invested? What have you put into this? If you just write someone and say, I need a job because I got fired, that will get you nowhere. You need to invest your time. And it's also, keep in mind that this isn't, even though you may feel desperate for having lost your job or thinking that you're going to lose your job, you don't want to come from a place of desperation. You want to come from a place of just a matter of fact, look, I was laid off. I'm now seeking out work. That is completely understandable. And if you're offering services, if your services match up with what I need, then we can connect and you can potentially get that contract work. The third bullet point I have here is to provide all information necessary to make a decision, also to be available. So I talked about this earlier. You want to make this as easy as possible. So if you're anticipating questions that someone might have, that's really going to help. So the hourly rate here goes right along with this. If you post your hourly rate, that's one less question that the person that would be contracting with you has to ask. If you have your experience, if you have everything laid out, not just your general resume, but the more you can tailor to someone, the more it's going to benefit you. Also, the more availability you have, the more it's going to benefit you. Now, if you just let them know, right now I'm still at my job, but I'm seeking out potential contract work in the event that I am laid off from my job, that's going to make sense. Then just let them know this is how many hours I have available, and these are the times in which I would be available. That's going to help. Also, err towards lower rates, and accept many forms of payments. Actually, this next point you wouldn't think would be problematic, but payment has been a problem for me in dealing with multiple contractors. And I'm just, yeah, I accidentally went back a slide. But accept as many forms of payment as possible because different people pay in different ways. So uh, if you can accept PayPal, if you can accept Venmo, if you can accept through Cash App, PayPal, of course, you can pay with credit card there. If you open up a Stripe account, that could really help you because you can send invoices, professional looking invoices at that. If you accept crypto, if you accept Wire, this is all going to help because what does this all get you? We're making it easier for people to contract with us, and we always want to make it as easy as possible for them to pay us. Now, I have here err towards lower rates, especially when you're getting started, because if you make it if you have a lower rate, this is not to say to price as low as possible. Obviously you still have to earn what is enough to live on, but if you price at lower rates, it's going to make it more likely that someone hires you. And if they become comfortable with you and they start hiring you more and more, then you can discuss increasing your rates later on. But in the beginning, when you're just starting out, it's easier to get hired if you price lower. So let's say you're at that $42, which I recommended. If you want to increase your rate, if you want to increase your success rate even further, you could go back to $35, which was what was your hourly rate at your job, your effective hourly rate at your job. But if you have that lower hourly rate, it does increase the likelihood that someone hires you. And so again, this is all designed so that you can be more successful sooner. Then I have here similarly, start small, one task, one assignment, keep it simple. If you bog someone down with too many options or too many ideas and there's too much up front, then what's going to happen is they'll probably just push it to the side because they don't want to deal with it. So this is going to get into your mindset later, but keep it simple. Make it easy on the person who would potentially be paying you and just offer them one thing or a few things. And then if you keep it simple, again, it makes it more likely that they will contract with you. And then um, make it so that whoever is working with you has a 5-star experience because that's just going to lead to more work. And so here I have the sentence mint on a pillow, on a hotel pillow. That just gives you the idea is you want to cap this off. You want to have everything just right to where it is such a positive experience for that person. They want to work with you more. And if you make that happen, then it's going to be much more likely that you receive more work and or that you receive referrals for other work. Maybe they know other business owners that could also use your services. So you want to go above and beyond wherever is possible. All right, and so on this next slide, I have mindset. And so start with a productive value add outlook. So rather than looking at what you need, which is work, right? You need work so that you can make money and pay bills. Look at what the person who is contracting with you would need, would make their experience better. So think of it this way: what can I do to make this person's life easier? How can I make it as easy as possible for them to work with me? How can I turn a good experience into a great one? What am I qualified to do? What am I excellent at? Highlight that, focus in on that, and really center around that as your offer. Because if you are offering what you are the best at, then it's more likely that someone's going to have a better experience because of that. So what are you qualified to do? Don't be delusional. Don't be unrealistic about what your current skill set is. What is it that you are the best at right now? Focus in on that and offer that service. How can I take as much risk out of the equation as possible? Again, we're trying to increase the chances that we get the contract work. And how can I stand out as the best decision they will make? So everything on this slide is designed around making it easy for the person who is working with you to hire you and to end up paying you. So make their experience great. If you do that, just think about going to a 5-star hotel. where everything they do is just they're anticipating what you might even think of. There you don't have to ask for extra towels. There are already extra towels in your cabinet. You don't have to ask for different beverages. The beverages are already lined up in your refrigerator. You don't have to ask where the pool is. They already tell you where the pool is, etc. So start anticipating what might be needed, go above and beyond, and make it to where they really have no logical choice but to continue working with you. And so that next slide was just the next slide in the template that I was using. But now we've covered a lot of different, like, not only your mindset but just different paths forward and how you should look at this. I think, in some ways, you being laid off or potentially being laid off could be one of the best things that happens to you, because now you can structure your work environment however you'd like. You can work with whoever you'd like, and you are going to be the one who is making the decision. So there's a lot of upside here. Even though it might be a bad situation, it doesn't mean that the bad situation can't end up turning out into be in the bad situation can't turn out to end up being a good one where you see a lot of the upside. And again, you can very easily end up getting paid more as a contractor than you were at your previous job. And so a lot of people think of jobs as more stable, more predictable, but what can so easily happen is that you do not have your job. So it's predictable until it isn't. It's stable until it isn't. And with contract work, yes, obviously the marketplace can fluctuate up and down. Right now, we know that the marketplace is seemingly fluctuating down because of the stock market, but it really does also depend on the sector you are in and who you're offering services to. But keep that in mind when you're offering services. Let's say you're offering a generalized service that people in any number of niches can use. Seek out those niches that are more prosperous. Seek out, maybe crypto, maybe obviously digital accessibility is doing extremely well, and artificial intelligence. And how can you add value as offering human work in the artificial intelligence field? So there are so many different things to think about, but even though you have lost your job, there's still an open field in front of you. You just have to know which path to go. There are a lot of people that very likely need your services. Just think about, what am I best at? What am I qualified? What do I want to do? What can I do for an extended period? And what can I do extremely well to where I really add value to whoever I'm working with. You add so much value to whoever you're working with, and keep in mind this: whoever is working with you, they're trying to leverage your services to improve their operations, to improve their business. So keep that in mind as well, that you're being hired because they are seeking to leverage you. So if you know that, think about, well, how can someone leverage me to make even more money? So keep that in mind as you are going through these different paths forward. So if I think of anything else or any additional resources, I will include those resources in the description for this video.